If you've ever read or seen the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, you'll know that compounding habits are a key part of making progress towards your goals. I often feel overwhelmed with what I'm hoping to achieve in my career and in life, and goals can easily feel very abstract if you don't break them down. I also think differentiation is rare. We tend to lack originality when our society reinforces external validation instead of building identity, which means we all start chasing the same means of success. So in the spirit of working towards becoming my best self, I'm sharing 5 habits that I do that I consider rare, meaning habits that I don't think the average person typically does, but I find that they actually help you progress or connect you deeper to yourself and lead you closer to finding fulfillment in your life.
Hello, my name is Macy. I'm 23 years old and I live alone in New York City, and I am on a mission to level up my life. If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you are as well. Today, we're going to be talking about habits that compound. These are habits that are rare. Rare, not necessarily meaning that they're hard to do, but because not so many people actually do them consistently and successfully. Because they take work and time and energy. But the key is that these habits compound over time. I guess that's the whole point of investing, right? But it's kind of like sunscreen. Sunscreen's actually a habit that I do and have done for quite some time. I also am pretty young. I'm 23, so I still have some time before I really start to see the effects of sun damage. But I wear sunscreen every single day, every morning, under my foundation. I am very consistent about, staying out of the sun, and specifically my face. I do tan, but I am very careful with it. I want to be balanced where I'm not depriving myself of sunshine, but also being mindful about skin cancer, sun damage, aging. I want to look good when I'm in my 50s. I want to look good when I'm in my 70s. And that starts today with prevention, and that is sunscreen. Sunscreen, retinol, moisturize, the trio. But I really do think that that's an example of a habit that compounds over time, because it's annoying to do that every single day. Yes, it can make my makeup look a little greasy, but over time, I do feel like this is something that will pay off, assuming that my sunscreen is good, but I do think that it is important, and I prioritize it because I believe in it. So we're gonna go a little deeper, right? So I wake up every morning around 5:30, 5:45, and I have been doing so consistently for the last month. The way in which this compounds for me is in a multitude of things. Number one, I have a migraine issue, so if I don't sleep well, this is a whole medical issue. So I need to make sure that I'm going to bed early, and I just function better when I'm going to bed at a reasonable hour and waking up early. Two, I am able to achieve so much more and be so much more productive throughout my day when I'm waking up super early. And I get so much more done versus when I am waking up at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I've never been someone that could really sleep in, but I do notice a massive difference just in my output, my energy, and what I bring to the table on a daily basis from a professional standpoint. There's so many different things that I would not be able to do if I did not wake up so early, and I feel so much better when I do so. My output is so much stronger when I'm waking up this early, and that in itself compounds over time. So in relation to working out, I take 2 workout classes before going into the office every morning, and that is very crazy to many people, but I have also found that this is the best way for me to obtain my fitness goals. I really want to increase my muscle mass, be more toned, but also live a very healthy and balanced lifestyle. Number one, I love working out, so I'm having so much fun. I think that from a joy standpoint, I get so much joy. I look forward to working out, and it's the highlight of my day to be able to move my body and to strengthen myself. And then from a compounding standpoint, so we've mentioned this in a few other videos, but I have a herniated disc, which I know is also pretty crazy at the age of 23, but I've had it for 5 years now, and I've been through years of physical therapy. I've been through pain management, cortisone injections. The only thing that's going to fix it is going to be a surgery, but I don't want to get surgery right now, so I would like to postpone and hold off on that surgery for as long as possible. I don't want to live my life jacked up on steroids either, so I work out a lot. I focus on core, I focus on strength. I want to build muscle because over time, this is gonna help me as I get older. I just think that building muscle, especially with all this new research that's coming out around women's health, building muscle is one of the best things that you can do for your future. I think muscle mass, especially for women, has always had a weird stigma behind it, but truth be told, you're not gonna get bulky, you're not gonna look crazy, and at the end of the day, you will be better off longevity wise, I'm not a doctor, but I would put money on how strongly I believe in building muscle mass and that contributing to your overall longevity and health down the line, assuming you're exercising correctly. Okay, some other things that I believe are also important and things that I don't really hear about. So specifically like wholesome activities. Now that sounds a little whack, but we as a society are not as invested in like being very wholesome to each other. Maybe this is a like confirmation bias, at least in my own life. I don't feel like I see a lot of people going out of their way for others. I don't see a lot of intentionality with how we treat other people, and especially on the internet, I think there's a lack of kindness and respect that we have for one another, and it's a little sad and it's a little disheartening. And I personally don't want that to be my reality. I want to surround myself with others who are thoughtful and do go out of their way for each other and are intentional. And I think that starts with myself, right? Like if I'm not doing those things, then how can I expect someone else to do that for me as a friend, right? Like I need to be able to uphold that standard for myself. And I think that's something that sometimes you need to, what's the saying, like extend the olive branch? Like be the first person to like kind of put that out there and like put the good vibes in the universe. I think there's nothing wrong with doing wholesome things, and that's actually something that I'm trying to take into the next few months to really like focus on is how do I give back to other people? Like what are some wholesome activities, things, actions that I can do that might make someone else happier? Maybe that's like baking cookies because I love to cook, I love to bake. Maybe that's like I baking cookies and giving them out to my colleagues and friends. Regardless, I think it would be nice to, you know, be a little bit more generous and thinking more through the lens of abundance rather than scarcity. So why don't I change that? At least for myself. At least be the representation if there isn't any. And I think we're lacking wholesome activities. I don't know why I'm calling it wholesome activities. I feel like there's a better phrasing for that. But like, I do think that wholesome actions are something that also compounds over time. Like investing in friendships, investing in other people, and investing in being a better human being is something that I think is honestly just like priceless. Like that's something that when I have children, I would like to instill in them. And what better way to practice what you're preaching? Starting early, now. Here's another habit that I think is really cool and I haven't really shared much about, but something I like to do is I write letters to myself, and I've been doing so ever since I was a little girl. I have always had like a note to myself type of thing, and it's really cool because it definitely compounds over time. Like in 10 years, you're gonna look back on it and be like, wow, this is so valuable and so cool to see, like just reflection wise, like how much has changed, what I was thinking at this time period of life. It's a really cool way to almost connect with yourself. And I'm saying this having done this for like a while, and it's really, really cool to see how much I've grown, how much I've changed, how my priorities have shifted as the years go by. I love writing notes. It's something that I like to do when I'm in a romantic partnership with somebody. Like I love to write notes because I think it's a very sweet and thoughtful way of expressing your feelings for another person. But we deserve to give that to ourselves. And I often like to prioritize that as an exercise of reflection and self-gratitude, because I always look back at these notes and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is so cool, and I'm so happy that I did this like 10 years ago. Try it and be consistent with it, because it will shift your perspective about things. I think writing a note to yourself as an exercise is fantastic, especially if you have specific goals in mind that you are hoping to accomplish. That is actually the premise of all of the notes that I've written to myself, right? Like I've always had something that I wanted to accomplish, something that I wanted to do for myself. Maybe that's shift my mindset in a certain way. Maybe that's, you know, an actual monetary goal. Maybe that's, you know, whatever it may be. It's really fulfilling to be able to look back when you achieve the goal and be like, wow, like this is so cool. Like it's almost like inspirational to yourself and a reminder that you are capable as a human being. At least that's how I've viewed it whenever I've done this activity. This might not be a very popular opinion, but I do believe that anything is possible. I believe that it's a when and not an if. So when I achieve this goal, not if I achieve this goal, it's when will I achieve this goal. Maybe not right now, but maybe in 5 years. It's not an if, it's a when. And I like that mentality because it keeps it realistic, but also positive. And I think that's really helped me achieve a lot of things in my life. I would say that it's a mindset that I would go into writing your notes to yourself if you're going to do this activity, because it will make a difference. The other thing that I do that is a little odd to some people is, like, I like to dress up and like make myself look presentable if I have nothing to do. Like, even if it's just like a random Saturday or a random Sunday and I'm not gonna see anybody, I try to make myself look presentable and dress up for myself. And at first, I've always been someone that did not like to do things. Like, I'm a former athlete, I hated wearing makeup, and I liked clothes that were practical. I do believe that dressing for myself has reinforced that it's for myself and not for anybody else. It's not for external validation, it's because I wanna look good and feel good. And I feel like dressing up for yourself is an affirmation in its own way. That's the compounding effect that I believe it has on myself, at least, is I dress up for myself because I'm showing up for myself. I'm showing myself that, yes, I am put together. I am this person, and looking in the mirror at myself just proves that, yes, I am that individual. I can show up for myself. I am ready to take on the day. And I believe that putting together a nice outfit helps me to affirm that this is who I am, this version of myself that's very put together, and that's how I can show up every day. It's not just on special occasions, it's every day, because I care about myself and I care about my well-being, and I want to look good. And it's not for anybody else, it's for myself. Dressing up really does affirm feeling put together, and I think it makes a massive difference in how I show up to other people, how I present myself, the confidence that it gives me when I'm in situations that maybe I wouldn't necessarily feel as confident in. Granted, I know that that's a little bit more of like a superficial thing, right? Like, it's appearance based, but I do think it makes a difference. And at the end of the day, it's about how you feel. It's about how you feel about yourself. If you want to be the girl that has her life together, you have to feel that way first. It's about like feeling elegant and feeling put together. Everything goes back to how you feel. All of these habits, a lot of them compound because either it's for your health and longevity, or it's for how you feel. And I think that's the most important part, and the best way to like build a strong identity that isn't reliant on other people. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know that I'm pretty anti content, external validation, just external influences in general, because oftentimes, at least for myself, like, I think that I can get lost in the abyss of options and consumption, like so many things to influence my output, instead of finding what is unique to me and how I differentiate myself. I think it all goes back down to how you feel about yourself, because that in itself is going to be what leads you to differentiate from others around you and get to that next level. If you really want to level up your life, like, I really do believe that this is the key. So with that being said, I hope this conversation was insightful or interesting and that you got something out of it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in next week's video.